We do it big, how we live, Kelly told you so. Come on, told y'all I was gonna bump like this. Y'all didn't think that I could bump like. I told y'all I was coming. I told y'all I was coming. Here we go again. Here we go again. All right, let's get this next Dear Deidre started. For all my folks here who love Dear Deidre, you guys have to like, comment, share, subscribe. I promise I'm going to get the right USB for my mic. It's about to be lit. Just give me a minute. I'm going through my Dear Deidre letters. I'm going to be answering these people letters, so y'all don't stress me out. But here we are. Here we are again. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Okay, here we go. Dear Deidre, I am 24 years old, and I recently graduated from Fayetteville State University. Oh, congratulations, girl. I'm from Missouri, but I decided to stay in North Carolina after I graduated. I actually like it down here. My only problem is there is not many options when it comes to the dating scene. And in all honesty, I hit a dry spell. One of my old college roommates told me to try online dating. The men in my DM are creepy and keep asking me to subscribe to their OnlyFans. Not interested. She told me to try the online dating apps. I said, what, girl? Like Christian Mingles? And she said, no, try Tinder. I had never heard of it. Anyway, needless to say, I logged on and created a profile. A week and I met a man who was a good match for my preferences, so I was excited. We talked for about a month and finally decided to meet up. This man actually looked like his pics. He seems to be 100% heterosexual, no children, a college grad, but I was not falling for the bait that easy, so we've just been dating thus far. Lately, our conversations and encounters have been very heated and sexual, so we decided to have the talk about going to the next step. During our conversation, he revealed to me that he is HIV positive. He informed me that there's a pill I can take that will prevent me from contracting the disease should we decide to have sexual intercourse. I was horrified at the thought. I really like him. Hell, I might even love him, but I don't know if this is the risk I'm willing to take. Please help. Sign, Disregard My Diagnosis. Oh, okay. Okay. Shut up, my North Carolina participants. Come on now with a word. And I got a few people down there, so I'm inclined to believe one of my people refers you to me. So, hey, girl. Okay. Are we going to call you DMD, right? Disregard My Diagnosis. So, we're going to call you DMD. DMD, I'm going to take a little sip for this one, DMD. Right? Let me say congratulations on graduating. That's a beautiful thing. The relocating to North Carolina, that's another beautiful thing to actually stay there, because sometimes people go back home. So that's what's up. How different is it from Missouri? You can let me know, because in the future we may, have some more business dealings. As far as the dating pool, this is what I will say, because what I'm learning about people is that's really the consensus of what people are saying, right? They said the dating pool has fucking shit and piss in it. I'm sorry to say, but that's what I keep seeing people say. And I'm like, wow, I have not seen what the dating pool looks like really and truly since maybe early 2016, late 2015. So I can't really tell you what the dating pool looks like. I don't even know. The only thing I do know is that people go, I don't know. I see people, the places that I see people try to date is a little different from when I was on the scene, but again, that was 7 years ago. I can't tell you, right? Anyway, let's start here. I think it's a beautiful thing that you were willing to take that risk, right? I think it's a beautiful thing that you were willing to say, listen, let me try something different, because doing it this way is not working, so let me log on to yada, 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 do bada, bada, bada. A lot of people do meet people online, so granted, that's a beautiful thing. I'm not knocking that at all, and I love the fact that you were open to it instead of just shutting down the whole, I'm going to be on my own for own, I'm going to get a rose toy and live my best life. No, you're just like, listen, I'm still willing to date. I just want to find some suitable folks to date, right? So I get that part of it. The other part of it is I like the fact that you said I wasn't being naive. I wasn't going to be silly and stupid. I didn't just take the bait off of what I saw and heard. I wanted to get to know this individual a little more. I also think that by you doing so, you created the space for him to be honest with you. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It also is a good thing to know you have an honest man, right? So that's a good thing. That's a beautiful. Hold on, because there's too much going on outside my window. Anyway. So it's a beautiful thing that, you guys decided, he decided to be open and honest with you. I can respect that because that does not always happen. And sometimes people just, take it upon themselves to make choices for other people. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you have an honest man. I like that. The second part of that is about what he's asking of you, right? The word you use, let me not, you said you was horrified at the thought, right? So by you saying that lets me know that although, like you said, I do like him, I do care about him, I do think he's a great guy, I might even love him. But I think that by you being horrified by the thought, it all boils down to the sacrifices you're willing to make in what you guys are building. What I tell everybody, I am maybe about 3-4 months shy of a 7-year relationship. And prior to my relationship, I was single for, I want to say 12 years. Yeah, I was single for 12 years. And I was single because I was hell-bent on getting what I wanted, right? But in order for me to even think about what I wanted, I had to think about who I am. And a large part of why relationships I had in the past, 12 years prior to, failed was because it wasn't that I didn't know who I was, but it was because I didn't stand on who I was. So because I didn't stand on who I was allowing certain things to take place, knowing that those things eventually will cause a problem for me because they did not make me happy. And I knew that. But at that time, I felt like, well, be open-minded and give things a chance, and you just never know, and maybe you being too hard on yourself. But it wasn't that. It was that I wasn't solid in who I was. And because I wasn't 100% solid in who I was allowing myself to shift and move and go with the wave of what's taking place, all in the name of having love, right? At that time, I was about maybe 19 or, no, I was 22, I'm lying. I was 22 years old. So being 22 and trying to navigate those situations, yeah, of course I, made some silly mistakes because I was young and immature and didn't know any better, and I'm looking for what I assume is love, right? But as you get older, what I assume happen is you start getting to know you more. And it seems like from what you described here, you pretty much have a good grasp on who you are as a woman, right? And let me commend you on that. I think that that's a beautiful thing, especially at a young age, because like you said, you just graduated from college. It's such a beautiful thing to be sure and be able to stand 10 toes down on who you are. That's the true meaning of confidence. The true meaning of confidence is being sure about who you are and then standing 10 toes down on that person, no matter who disagrees with it, who doesn't like it, who doesn't understand it. It does not matter. This is who I am, and this is who I'm going to be no matter what. So I can applaud you and I can appreciate that, right? And I think knowing who you are is the reason why you did certain things. Like you said, even though he appeared on paper and even in person, like all of the things I would like, I still wanted to take my time with him and get to know him. That's just standing solid in who you are, right? I can respect that. Being able to say, listen, this method of dating isn't working for me, so now I need to try something different, and being willing to try. That's standing solid in who you are. So that's a beautiful thing. I think that standing solid in who you are is your gift. And I think because it's your gift and you're very much aware of that, you don't need to waver in that. Being solid and being able to stand up and be who you are is what is going to save and change your life. Because being who you are is your gift. It is what makes you unique to the world. It's also your contribution to the world. Everything that you have, nobody else on this planet possesses, right? And because of that, you have to stick with that. In sticking with who you are, sometimes you will encounter people, places, and things that go against what you represent and what you stand for. That's life. That's the inevitable. You cannot stop encountering and meeting and sharing space with folks that are totally opposite and against who you are, right? The thing that you need to do is to make sure you respect folks who are different from you, but also you make folks respect you and the differences you represent in between the two of you. And wavering on who you are is going to cost you a lot, because no matter what, we always go back to who we really are. So let's just say you were in a situation that had you encounter a person that was on drugs. And one of your hard no's was that I don't deal with folks that is on drugs. If you stand 10 toes down solid in that, you and that person would disconnect, because that's not something that you're interested in. But if you started to waver, it will welcome that person in more. And eventually you guys will have problems, because they are who they are. And slowly but surely, even with your wavering, you're going to come back to who you are. And that's going to present an issue for the both of you, because who you are is not in alignment. That person is on drugs and you're not tolerable of it. It can't align. Right? What's happening here is this person is in a very, very, very serious situation. You didn't share how they got in that situation, so I definitely won't say it was a choice of theirs. I will just say it's their reality, right? They have an illness that, you know, is very serious, and it's their reality. He didn't hide it. He didn't sugarcoat it. He afforded you options to protect you, and he was upfront with you. This is not on him. This is not on him. This is on you. This is on you. As a woman, you have to make a decision that is suitable for you, one you can live with, one you will benefit from, and one you can grow in. Right? Because the moment that you make a decision that goes against who you really are, you're going to be able to ride that wave a little bit. But eventually, that wave will come to an end, and who you really are will come crashing down. And if who you really are is not in alignment with who this brother is, you have to understand that that may not work for you. Right? I don't know what you seek in a relationship, because you did not share that in your letter. Right? Because if you're saying you seek in a relationship a man who's successful, you know, handsome, educated, and honest, if that is what you need, that is what he represented. From what you share in the letter, if those are the 4 things that you need, those are the things that he represented. Right? But in him representing the 4 things that you need, they also come with stipulations. And you have to be realistic about what you need, the stipulations that come with your needs, and how you can work effectively in that space, right? And I'm going to give you an example. One of the beautiful things about me being self-aware is that I know everything that I need, right? I know that for sure. One of the needs that's very important to me is that I needed a person who can be a good parent, because I'm an older woman, so it was no way on God's green earth that I would be in a relationship with a man that didn't have any children, right? Again, from where I'm from, most men my age have children, right? For me, it was very important for anybody that I was going to be in a serious relationship with to be a good parent, Because if you're a good parent to children that you have outside of me, then that lets me know that you would be a good parent to the children that we have together. So it was important to me that if I dated a man that was a parent, he needed to be a good parent, right? So there's some stipulations that come with dating a man who has children, because he has children with someone outside of you. You don't know that individual. That could be a person, as soon as you meet them, y'all hug and fall in love. That could also be a person who you two never get along. I had to factor in the stipulations that comes with what I need. And what I'm saying to you is that if all of the things that you need, which is honesty, compassion, support, an educated man, a loving man, is there with this man, you have to factor in the stipulations and see if they are something that you can deal with. And the reason why I say that is because, again, I'm going to go back to how it went from the way you described it in the letter. This man was honest up front, and he actually protected you and provided you with options. Are those things that you need? Because if they are, he did those things, but they also come with a stipulation. Now you have to be honest with yourself and say, although I'm getting what I need, if that's what you need, can I also deal with the stipulations? Because it's one thing to get what you need. It's another thing to be able to accommodate the stipulations that come with all of your needs. Right? And we all have that. We all have that. We all have that. Every last one of us on this planet have needs. And then there's also stipulations that come with those needs, right? Because I've seen women say, well, I want a romantic man. And then when they get the romantic man, you know what they turn around and say? But he's too clingy. But that's what's accompanied with his romance. You said you wanted a romantic man. A part of him being romantic is him being clingy. That's the stipulation. Can you deal with that? So that's why I brought that up in this situation, because it seems as though this man may be a good match for you, but he does have some stipulations that accompany everything that you're connected to, and you have to really, really dig deep to see if that's something that you can deal with, right? And it sounds like you're very, very good with standing 10 toes down on who you are. So I would have to ask you, is being who you are in conflict with what you've been presented with? Because if it is, then you have to question if you're willing to bend on who you are, or you're willing to stand tall on who you are and remove yourself from the conflict, right? Because this situation is a very, very sticky one, and it's a very serious one. The other part of it that I acknowledged that he said was, which in my opinion was him protecting you, he shared with you that there were some methods that you guys could take that wouldn't put you in jeopardy, according to him. I would have to ask, is that something you would like to research and look into? Is that something that you would consider? Is that doable? And if it is that in conflict with who you are? Because if it is, then that's a separate conversation. But if it's not, and it's something you're willing to do, as long as it doesn't jeopardize you, then by all means, be who you are and stand solid in who you are. But I think the other area of concern is, not only having some concerns about your safety, because he could 100% assure you, even with a doctor, that every method he's telling you is safe for you. I think that also having the outside voices of other folks and their commentary regarding whatever decision that you make. And that's the one thing I know about relationships, is always judgment. It's always judgment. There can be judgment from family members. There can be judgment from friends. There can be judgment depending on how public your relationship is from outsiders. And the one thing that you have to know is you are in a bubble with just you and that person. And then there's also the bubble with just you. And if that person loves and respects and honors you, they will be able to understand that there is some things that are just sacred to you, and there's just some things that's sacred to them. And then it's the coming together of you both. And I wonder, by what you said in the end of this letter, if what he said is conducive to the woman that you are. Now, granted, like I said, you didn't share what you needed in this letter. You know, you did not share any of your needs, because had you shared, then we could step away from the stipulations and we could just talk about what you need. And then I would ask you, are you getting what you need? And if you are you satisfied? But again, we would have to reintroduce the stipulations, because although you're getting everything that you need comes with stipulations. Can you handle that? And being able to handle the stipulations and still be able to get what you need is how you grow and advance in relationships. But if you're getting what you need and you can't handle the stipulations, you're going to have an issue in that relationship. Or if you're getting what you need, if you're getting what you need and you can handle the stipulations, are you willing to move forward with the choices that you're making and not care about what the outside world thinks or feels? Because that's another thing that you have to be mindful of. Caring about what you're doing and who you're being versus what the rest of the world thinks. Is that conducive to you? So, my dear, if we were in a healing heart session, right? The first line of questioning after you shared this letter with me would be, what do you need? What do you need? And a lot of times people confuse what they need with what they want, right? What do you need? So I had somebody say to me, well, I need a rich man. I need a man with a big dick. I need a romantic man. I need, those were all the needs, right? I've seen that person receive all of that and still be unhappy and come back to me and wonder why they're unhappy. And I said, well, listen, you're getting everything that you need. What's making you unhappy? Because although they were getting the money and the huge penis and the things that they said they needed, it was also being accompanied by disrespect and violence. And I said, well, wait a minute. You didn't say anything about needing respect. You didn't say that. So I'm almost sure that if you didn't say that to me, that's not what you conveyed to your partner. You confused them. You told me everything you need and I gave it to you. So what's the issue with all these other things? Oh, but you don't respect me. You never told me you needed respect. So that's why I think people get wants and needs confused, right? I remember I watched A Different World, and I always bring this up to people because this is exactly how I feel. For anybody that watched sitcoms from the 80s or 90s, you know what I'm talking about. On A Different World, I'll make it short. Whitley and Dwayne. Dwayne was more of, I don't want to say low class. I'll say middle class for lack of a better word. But, he basically didn't have much, right? And he came from, pretty much what they call, quote unquote, regular family, where Whitley was kind of on the upper echelon of things, according to the sitcom, right? He loved Whitley. Everybody felt like Whitley was out of his league, including him, but he loved Whitley, right? So he always used to shoot a shot at her. And I remember one time when he was trying to shoot a shot at her, he said, well, what type of man you like? So she said, because remember, she was like very, very high maintenance. So, of course, anytime asking that question, you would think she would say, well, I need a rich man and I need a very, high value man and so on and so forth. But the things she lists were, things that he didn't expect, which was, she said, I need an ambitious man. I need a man with dignity. I need a man with probably the strong man. I need an intelligent man, and yada, yada, yada. So I never forget, Dwayne looked at her and he said, well, then that means that you want a poor man, right? And she looked back at him and she said, a man like that is never poor. That's exactly how I feel. Once I get the internal things situated, it will reflect in the external, right? So if I get a man that's honest, then I know I have a man that I can trust. right? So if my request and my need is, I need a man that's honest, that's only because I'm getting a man that I can trust, right? And people forget their needs because they're so busy thinking about their wants. Think about the necessities as opposed to the luxuries, right? If you're getting what you need in this man, that's one thing, which is what we would be talking about. But then we must talk about the stipulations that come with the needs, because stipulations come with everything. And it sounds like, if I'm being honest with you, it doesn't sound like you don't want this man. It sounds like you're in love with him. But it also sounds like the stipulation that comes with who he is something that you can't handle. And what I will say is this: I'm not here to tell you what you can or can't handle. I'm just here to tell you that whatever decision you make, you have to continue to be the confident you and stand 10 toes down in that. Because once you start sacrificing and jeopardizing who you are for someone else, is the moment that you participate in all of your trauma and unhappiness that's going to come. Right? So, in this session, my number one question is, what do you need? And then when you give me what you need, I would have to ask, can you deal with the stipulations that comes with all of the things that you need? Because if not, then you may need to alter your needs. Word on the curb is we must be specific in prayer. Maybe you weren't specific enough, my dear. So, in any event, I hope that this provided you with some insight. I hope that you make the best decision that you see fit for you. And I hope everything works out for you in that, gentleman, whether that's together or separately. You know, I would like to see the both of you be very happy, because you both sound like very good people, you know, that's just looking for love. So whether it's with each other or separately, I hope it happens for the both of you. All right. And I would love, once again, to hear if you got something from this and it helped you move forward. If you didn't get shit and you ain't appreciate my feedback, and my feedback make absolutely no sense, and you need a one-on-one session for me to kind of clarify, I need to hear some feedback from my dear DJ folks. All right, but in any event, I must always share how grateful and thankful I am for people that participate and send their letters in the first place. Alrighty, I really, really appreciate that. Continue to tap in, continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, and do everything you need to do. As I said, and I'll say it again, YouTube is going to retire me if Pookie don't first. Enjoy.